without even realizing it, we reinforce and repeat conservative messaging all the time. And that's called negation. Don't think of an elephant. Here's some examples. Scott Walker has not even created half of the jobs he promised. You're going to see that reinforces the conservative frame in a huge way. The entire, and here's the thing, when you activate the frame, when you talk about private sector job creation, activating the conservative frame, metaphorically, it actually activates the entire frame. It's called a neural cascade. Right? Just like the elephant, you didn't just think of the elephant. You thought globally about elephant. You thought of all different contexts of elephant and activities, right? So when you activate the frame at all, you activate the entire frame. And it happens unconsciously. You don't think of it, you don't control it, it happens. And it exercises that neural circuitry. That's from the DPW website. Here's a simpler example. Richard Nixon got up and said, I am not a crook. Everybody thought of him as a crook. So how is it critical? Every message has a frame. So when you think, you frame. So when you message, you get people to think. Therefore, that message is understood by people in the larger context of the frame. It has to be that way. Again, it's how your brain works. The frame defines the moral worldview and certitude that you are talking about, that you are evoking. So the frame, if I say, I'm going to fill up my coffee cup, right? That evokes the frame of filling the cup, which in me unconsciously gives me a good feeling because my cup is going to be more full. That's metaphorical. Think of frames as like boxes, just like a metaphorical. Our language is all understood in terms of containers. Like the language and the words we use and sentences are understood metaphorically in terms of a container. Almost everything we think of is in terms of a direction or a place or a state of existence within a certain experience, right? So those messages exist within that metaphorical frame. And we'll get to the metaphor part of it soon. This is why this is so important, because people vote and respond to morals. People do not respond to issues. People do not respond to a laundry list of issues. And if you're in politics and if you don't get that, you're in the wrong business. More people vote on moral frames and issues. We know this from research. Conservatives know it. That's why they never talk about specific issues without framing. Vouchers are powerful. School vouchers. All of us good progressives talking about education, we don't use the term choice, we talk about vouchers. Guess what? Vouchers is a conservative metaphor. Technically, there's no such literal thing as a school voucher, right? Because it's a payment, right? But the school voucher, a voucher is something that you deserve, something you've earned, that you're entitled to. So every time you say school voucher, you're reinforcing the conservative idea of that.
I question that because it seems to me the conservatives are running away from the terms vouchers in favor of school choice, and because there's a negative association with vouchers too.
There could be, if you can, so voucher could be a concepted concept, so the progressives could turn the term voucher against the conservatives, but they don't. Conservatives continue to use choice because it's more powerful. But yet, vouchers still, yes, you could, huh?
Vouchers don't poll though.
They poll less conservative. We could talk about polling as a huge, the way polling is done is a huge problem, right? When they poll on the issue of voucher versus choice, the only thing that poll is measuring is which is more conservative. It's not saying, it's progressives, when they poll on that, they're not using it to try to change discourse. They're trying to measure where what's less conservative. Choice is more conservative, which is why vouchers poll less popular than choice. So you're not measuring what's an effective messaging strategy. You're polling and measuring what is more conservative. There's a way to undermine that. There's a way to undermine that voucher frame, so that progressives could use it to undermine the conservative view. Right. There's a way to do that.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
I might be ahead of you.
I hope so.
But I thought you said when you talk vouchers, people think of something they're entitled to.
Yes.
Yet an entitlement is bad.
Unless, well, here's, and we'll get to this, but you're ahead, but we might as well say no. The most important thing about a moral frame is the preservation of the frame itself. So the way they've successfully framed that school voucher thing means that it's something that those families deserve because they are moral, because they're disciplined, and because it will support the conservative values. Meaning, no public education. So the most important thing is the preservation of the